Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome to an all-new Shadowhunters after show here at AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we're going to be breaking down Season 2, Episode 2, titled A Door into the Dark. And if you haven't noticed, if you're watching, I have a special guest sitting next to me. He kind of just came in off the street, so I can't wait to talk to him. Please stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Thank you again so much for tuning in to another Shadowhunters after show here at AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. As promised, we have Isaiah Mustafa right here in the studio. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Of course. We are thrilled. We've been waiting for you here at our Shadowhunters after show.
Okay.
So, you know, you came in, it's raining, which is basically like a tornado in every other city. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Where can everyone find you on social media for those that don't know?
It's real simple, at Isaiah Mustafa. It's both of them.
Awesome.
Instagram and Twitter. Facebook, I don't even play with.
Well, guys, follow him on Facebook or not Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And I am also joined by my Shadow Squad here, Mr. Dakota T. Jones and Becca Brown.
What's up, guys? You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones.
Hi, I'm Becca. You all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV.
And guys, we are in the live chat and we have your questions for Isaiah, so thank you so much. Keep on chatting. So if you can see here, Isaiah, lots of people are talking, they're watching, they're excited to have you, as are we.
It's funny because last season we had most of the cast in and you were one of the ones we didn't get in, and so everyone on social media for like the months that was off air, everyone was like, you got to get Isaiah in, he's got to be the first guest, and so it was so cool how this worked out.
The fans are dedicated.
And that's why my Twitter and my Instagram didn't grow any last year, because I wasn't on this show.
I know,
so,
right?
Yeah, okay.
I'm so sorry.
And that explains it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Speaking of the fans, you know, since we didn't get you last season, I want to talk about kind of how this phenomenon like started for you personally, what this experience has been like, and, you know, did you read the books? Are you kind of going in, or how's it been?
I'm going in. So let's see. I'll start with I did the network test, and you know they told me you'll probably know within the next I don't know 4 days or something, and you know, my manager was like, it might take longer than that, so don't, just go live your life. So I was on a plane flying up to Prince George, British Columbia for a convention for Old Spice, or just the Old Spice guy, and
all for you.
Yeah, well, I was one of the guys. But I got off the plane in Vancouver, and like I wasn't even thinking about it, and my phone was like blowing up, and I was like, man, what's going on? Like, I hope nobody died or anything. So you never know.
You never know. Social media these days.
So I checked it out, and the first thing I read was like Matthew Daddario and Isaiah Mustafa cast in Shadowhunters, and I was like, oh, no way, So I was
That
like, oh
guy.
my gosh, yeah. And then it just kind of blew up from there. Like
Awesome.
it blew up. Which is funny. Here's a little side story is. So Daddario and I were in our test together, and like in the lobby, you have like 3 different dudes, and there was like 5 different Alex kind of hanging around, and Daddario is like sitting on this couch, and he's the only one that's like making eye contact with me or anybody after that. Like and he's got a smile on his face, and he's like makes eye contact, and I was pretty relaxed, so I looked at him, and I was like, "What's up, buddy? What's going on?" And I was like, "Do I know you?" And he goes, "No, do I know you?" And I go, "No." I go, "But you look familiar." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Yeah, you look familiar too." And then he goes to like Google me, and then we both kind of went to go Google, and then we looked at our IMDb, and we're like, "No, we haven't worked together." And we're like, "Okay, well, whatever." And then that was that. And then, like, literally right after when we were cast, I tweeted out to him. I go, "Yeah, I bet you're gonna know me now, huh?"
I've got to say, I love the Twitter interaction between you all.
Oh, I know.
It's really fun, actually.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
It's
get
like
after it.
you obviously have a cast, but then like you guys it's like a family. So you're all like making fun of each other, picking at each other
all the time.
Yeah,
all the time. Like nobody is exempt. Like everybody gets it from top to bottom. Like me. Dom and I today, we were at TCA's, and we let Matt have it. Like, I mean, I don't know what like he's gonna think of this, but we went off. It was so fun though. We were just like, we're like, he's just too perfect. That's our problem with him. He's too perfect.
Coming from two of also the most perfect guys
Oh,
ever.
I appreciate that, but trust me, I'm like low man on that totem pole.
All right, Mr. Old Spice on the board. Well, let's get into tonight's episode a little bit. You know, we have Jocelyn back, which is a huge thing, especially for your character.
Yeah, it is really big. Luke having her back is a little bit of a. I think he's kind of seeing that with Clary becoming a Shadowhunter in the past 21 days or how long she's been a Shadowhunter. He's kind of seeing that Jocelyn being back isn't necessarily the best thing because she's kind of like inserting herself into a machine that's already been working. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a little tough. Like, and what are you going to say to your girlfriend? You know, stop talking to your daughter. No, you're just going to go, well, let me just take a step back and let you do your mother thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully it works out for the best. You know?
She's kind of like taking advantage of, you know, your character being her boyfriend in a sense, to be like, you're going to be on my side, you're going to help me out with this, and you're like, wait, like I've got my own pack to worry about and family to worry about, and now she's kind of expecting you to be on board with everything she's got going on, and you're kind of like, oh, this is kind of a little much.
Yeah, she's not really seeing my side of the situation. She's just seeing that I have a daughter who's stepped into this world that I need to protect, which I understand that. I get that, and I think anybody would. But and I'm speaking as Luke, I think Luke's looking at it like, listen, there's a bigger problem going on here that we need to look at, and I think you haven't been around for a while, so maybe you don't understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a tough negotiation.
And I also feel like there's kind of an awkward situation between Luke and Jocelyn at this point, because what are they? You know, are they openly in love, or is it still kind of like a hush-hush?
No, I can tell you the main difference between, and we had this discussion actually on set, the main difference between this season and last season as far as that relationship is concerned is like you may have wondered what it was last season because you really didn't get into it before she was like zonked out. But this season it's definitely a relationship. Like maybe they didn't say that, or no one was like, you know, spray painting on a wall, but they definitely are a couple.
Yeah.
You know,
so far we
just-
haven't had like an on-screen kiss yet, right?
Yeah, get ready. Yeah.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
It's coming.
All right. Cool.
But yes, they are a couple.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool.
I think the thing that lets us know that they're a couple is the trust between them, like the trust they have for each other. I mean, minus the fact that Jocelyn has, as we were talking about, come in and kind of mess things
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
She's kind of
A
pushing
tiny
the
bit.
limits and kind of stressing.
It's tough. I mean, and she says it too, though. She says that there's that one scene where we're talking outside, and she's asking me to go help to get Clary back. And she says, look, I didn't say anything because I was afraid to lose you.
Yeah.
And she doesn't mean as a friend or as someone in my life. She means I didn't want to lose you as my man. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we heard it here first. I'm glad we got that clarity.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for the kiss.
I know.
Yeah.
Something funny that one of our viewers said, her name, or at Validoscope, says, how's Luke doing? He's Alpha Wolf now. Jocelyn is back. The Clave is tripping. Clary is struggling. Val is acting up big time. And I just love it. It's like a mini synopsis of what's going on in Shadowhunters right now, and the best slang possible.
Totally. What's really cool and like just so deep about the show that I'm not sure too many viewers get, and hopefully, you know, they'll start, more people will watch and understand that this is a really deep show because you got so many relationships and things going on here that each one of these characters, you can take them and make a show on their own.
Yeah.
And just that'll be the show. So, you know, Luke's whole situation with Valentine, like that whole thing, that betrayal's going on. You know, he's looking after Simon. He's looking after Clary. He's got a whole relationship, friendship with Magnus that we haven't even touched on yet. You know, I mean, there's that history that, like, me and Magnus go back.
Yeah.
You know, there's things that they know about each other that hasn't been revealed yet. You know, it's just really, it's just a very deep show.
He's the guardian.
Just when you
for
think
everyone.
you've reached like the bottom of it, there's more to dig.
Yeah, you're digging.
Yeah.
Trust me. There's so much. Even Luke, Dom and I were talking about this today. Even Luke and Jace have these parallel lives that are kind of connected through Valentine. Like a lot of what Luke went through as a Shadowhunter, Jace is going through now with that trust with Valentine.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my dad, but how can I let him go forward with this plan that's gonna pretty much destroy everything? You know?
Yeah.
And Luke had that same problem before he turned.
Yeah.
Right.
And let's get a little bit into Valentine, and we have Jace, and that scene where Jocelyn comes and she tries to kill who she thinks, I'm assuming at this point, is her son.
Right.
And then Jace saves Valentine in a sense, and Valentine takes not a bullet but an arrow,
Right.
but he steps in front and he takes it, and there's that moment of, wow, I don't know what I would have done, and I can see that Jace is kind of not turning to the bad side, but seeing the humanity in Valentine.
Yeah, I mean, this is from my point of view. I can say that it looks to me as Jocelyn was like, listen, this child of mine has been tainted. That's I witnessed it. I saw what happened, and this one I can't let get tainted.
Right.
So I have to choose the greater good, which is to save Clary. And if that means taking out this one, it's Sophie's choice. I gotta do it. You know what I mean?
I just feel like that I was going to say, as a mother, I have a cat. That's about it. But I will say that I, would expect her to have been like, my child is my child. And what if Clary turns dark for a moment? Is she just going to...
These are the questions I think you got to ask yourself, though. And when you watch it, you have to go like, wow, like what are her motives? Like, what kind of person? Like, that's very revealing about what kind of person she is.
I know. I want to know more about that, because she obviously has her reasons to go after Jace, but in the same sense, like, all we saw in the flashback was how Jace
Killed a flower.
Wilted a flower.
Wilted a flower, and I'm like,
okay.
I've probably done that in my childhood at some point. Is my mom gonna come after me? So there's got to be more. There's, like you said, you can always dig deeper. There's got to be more reasons why she's obviously.
Just for the fans, so the fans know. Like, I mean, I'm not telling anybody how to watch the show or how to go about it, but you have to, if something happens, like, give it a second before you have a knee-jerk reaction to it, and dig a little bit deeper and ask yourself, okay, well, wait, what does that say about who that person is? Because that's what I believe our writers and our new showrunners are trying to tell you, that, look, everything's not what it seems. There's people have different motives, and so instead of saying like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she did that, just go like, well, wait, hold on, why did she do that? So I mean, I'm not, without giving too much away, that should help later.
Well, she is your lady, so.
Yeah.
But
and that's what, that's the one thing that Luke struggles with the most, is that he's like, look, this is my woman. We hopefully we're gonna get married one day.
Yeah.
Why is she doing this to this person that I've always like said was, this kid is, he's like the best Shadowhunter around. So,
you're kind of like, wait a minute, this is maybe my future wife. Like, what is she doing? Type of thing.
Yeah.
Jace would be the prototype of what you are supposed to be as a Shadowhunter, and so why is she trying to take him down?
It is very confusing, but you're right. Have patience, dig deeper, because each of these characters kind of have their own past, and that's what's so fun too about this show, is that there's all these books, and then there's like prequels, and it's complex. It's infinite.
That's why I love the show so much. Listen, I love the books too. I'll be confessed, I've only read 1, 2, and 3, but I can say this much: with the show, the writers are they're so good about putting little pieces of each book into the show, and they may put it in a little sooner, but for TV, you just have to do that. Like, you have to give a little bit more. But they're really good about giving you all those little nuances and all those little like tidbits and morsels that you really want in the show.
I want to briefly touch upon this Alec Clary, situation again. They just do not get along. They've never. And he says,
I'm sad.
I know. It makes me sad too, because it's the kind of thing, he says things that he knows are going to hurt her feelings.
Yeah, he goes for the kill.
Yeah, Alec doesn't hold back.
No.
Not at all. And I think what's going on there, again, I can't say too much about that because I don't dig into that relationship with the showrunners too much, but I think what's going on there is you're getting just a little bit of a jealousy because Jace is, all his attention's been on Clary.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, hold on, am I your parabatai or is she your parabatai?
Exactly.
And I think that's what Alec's dealing with.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a lot of possessiveness.
Yeah. It's just like any, it's like two friends or they're friends, and then this new person comes along, and it's like, wait, hold on, who's this new person?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think Alec has always been threatened by Clary, and he has a reason to.
Oh, yeah.
But he kind of kind of sort of got over that for a little bit.
For a
Yeah.
second,
Yeah.
They were cool for a minute. But
Yeah,
For a minute,
but
but
now
now
Jace
they're
is
not.
gone. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, so.
And that shook things up, but it's one of those things where something that I'm interested to know more about is obviously if Parabatai, like they're being apart, it's very painful for them, especially for, I mean, Alec right now, but like, is Jace in pain? Because he's not really showing as much emotion, you know what I'm saying?
I think Jace is pained even more.
Okay.
Quite frankly, I think. But what happens with Jace? Because me and Don were talking about it. Jace, all he cares about is saving his friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his whole thing is like, look, I don't have, even though this is killing me, I have to devote my time to saving my friends. So let me do that before I start. I internalize this.
Yeah.
And boy, did he go to extremes to save his friends.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does. Hardcore. And it's evident in, like, I don't know, what, episode 9, I think, of last season, when him and Alec got in the fight. And Alec, he's just like, do it, man. Like, kill me. Like, whatever. I'm not going to fight you, you know?
Yes. Oh.
We also have a lot of Simon in this episode,
Yeah,
and
my favorite.
yeah,
One of my favorites, yeah.
I love Simon very much,
Yeah.
and he just continues to get funnier and funnier.
Oh,
yeah. does.
He's got
Always.
the best lines, yes.
Yeah, he really does. There's all
He's
these
the
like
one-liners.
memes and gifs
Yes.
all over the internet.
And
It's
Alberto's
amazing.
he's so good at it. He's so quick and, like, snappy, like, so good at it.
Yeah, I'm an absolutely huge fan, and I love this, bond that he has
Bromance.
made with Luke.
Yeah.
And because essentially they are each other in the women's lives.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
this parallel.
There you go. Yeah.
So
But,
true.
well, the cool thing is what you do, like what we kind of forget sometimes is that before Clary was thrust into this shadow world, Luke and Simon had a relationship then. Like
Yeah.
they were already like bros. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's a good
so
point.
like he's seen Simon drive for the first time.
Yeah.
Do all these firsts. He's been in his life in some way, shape, or another. So now that he sees him, like now you're one of us. Like
Yeah.
you're part of us now. I think Luke is like, he feels he's obligated to make sure that he can bring him along. But now he's got this other thing that's kind of like, well, I can only go do so much for you without alienating my own group.
Yeah.
Well, I've been unclear. Does Luke know that like his whole pack is basically like bullying Simon and like keeping
lunch.
him, in? I mean, it's not like it's a bad place. He has a big space to hang out in.
It's a shed. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's totally the boat shed. Yeah,
Shed.
I don't think he knows the extent of what's going on, but I definitely think that he's like, all right, look, like it's not going to be easy for him. But then this shadow, this being a downworlder isn't easy,
Right.
Yeah.
So he has to learn that. And I'm not saying Luke's throwing him to the wolves or
Literally.
literally, but yeah.
He kind of is.
But what he's kind of like, look, I have to get you into this world,
Yeah.
and you have to learn this, and if you do it right, you're gonna make friends,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you won't like tempt people to tear your flesh apart.
Exactly. I love how like it's just like Simon's character he's like a comic relief, but it's
Yeah.
kind of time for him, as Magnus says in this episode, like be a man, grow
Right.
up,
Yeah.
figure it out yourself. I feel like your character may be kind of like knowing kind of what's going on, but like not to the extent of it, but it's kind of like, you know what, he's a man, he needs to kind of start figuring some of this out.
Yeah, and I also think that if you know Simon, you know that he's a good talker. He's an intelligent boy. He knows how to talk his way out of a lot of situations, and he's just likable. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard for someone not to like him.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
he just trusts himself, he'll be fine.
But he's smart, so he overthinks stuff. probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that makes me feel better because I was just like, where's Luke? Why isn't he helping?
Yeah.
I know, I was too. I was like, wait, he took some random phone call and went to the back of the kitchen area. Like, where is he going?
Yeah, you'll see in the next few episodes, like 3, 4, 5, and 6 are, man, like stuff goes down. Like I mean, I'm telling you, like the 3, 4, 5, and 6 for me, I think that's gonna be like you're gonna see a turn. And it's going to really develop the rest of the show. It really makes the show like kind of like flourish.
Wow.
And also you'll see where people's loyalties lie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely see that.
Some sketchiness.
Well, again, you know,
right.
we know that Jocelyn and Luke have this loyalty together, but when Clary goes and kind of runs away from the Institute to go to the art school that she was originally supposed to go to,
Yeah.
you know, it was a very interesting scene, them finding her there, and it was like the good cop, the bad cop kind of situation. And, you know, you're essentially her father figure, not Valentine. And it just was, it was a very sad scene for me, for Clary.
It was a really sad scene, but I feel like it was, even though it might not have been the safest thing, I feel like it was good for her for a second because she needed to relieve stress.
Yeah, that was like a reset button for her. She just needed to kind of do that. What was interesting was that Jocelyn came to Luke and was like, yo, listen, I need you to go talk to her.
Yeah.
And then once we get in there, she's like, you know, and Luke's like, listen, didn't you call me to do this? Like, let me do it, you know? So, and she does. She's like, all right, go ahead, do it, you know?
But what do you think Luke would have said to Clary if he could say exactly what he felt about the situation and wanted to say if Jocelyn wasn't standing right there?
About the situation with what's going on at the Institute?
Yeah, and you know what Clary should do and what she shouldn't do, because it almost felt like, you know, Luke looked like he was biting his tongue, you know, trying to kind of walk on eggshells to appease both parties.
Yeah, I think he was for the most part. But I also feel like if he could have said what he wanted to say, he still would have been cautious. Because I think he knows the Clave, and he knows exactly what they're capable of, and he knows how political they are. So he doesn't want to, like he's the ultimate arbitrator. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing to give Clary an idea that the Clave is evil, because ultimately she's a Shadowhunter and he's not. So she has to obey the Clave. You know, she just has to. So he doesn't want to step in between that relationship, but he wants to make sure that she knows, like, listen, like, you have to be yourself at the same time, and respect what this governing body is telling you. Yeah. But use your best judgment on that. So it's really tricky, you know.
She feels like she doesn't fit anywhere. She's like, okay, I obviously don't belong in the shadow world, and I'm messing everything up. But then you guys kind of go and talk to her, and she's like, oh, well, I can't be a normal person either. So where do I fit in? Like, I feel like even though that's an extreme situation, I feel like a lot of teenagers and like anyone in their 20s to 30s can relate to that. It's like, I don't fit anywhere type of thing. And so if this is just that happening on like a crazier scale.
What is it called? An apocalyptic scale.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. It's like, am I this? Am I that? Who's going to die? Who's not going to die?
Exactly.
Speaking of who's going to die, who's not going to die, I'm pretty sure last season I said that Dot was not done. Didn't I say that?
I think we all predicted it at one point.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
Except I have to say, whenever she like showed up on the screen, I was absolutely shocked because I wasn't expecting it. Even though, you know, we thought maybe she was going to be around, they're going to use her for another season or so. We didn't know when that was going to happen. So when she just showed up, I was like, oh my gosh.
I was thinking Claire was seeing things.
See, I didn't think that when I read it, but I was definitely shocked when I was like, Dot's back.
Yeah.
Oh, but then I thought about it and I was like, of course she's back, because Valentine needs that conduit. He needs that vessel to do all these crazy things, and Dot was the closest to Clary. So he needs someone that can actually like get through to her and reach her. So it made total sense. When I was like, oh, of course.
Yep. It's almost like he was kind of saving her like in the cabinet for like whenever he needed her, as if she was just some kind of like elixir or something. It's like, because we all knew that we thought she had died, but then we see that scene last season where, you know, he kind of starts injecting her in this cage, and we're like, well, if she's dead, why is he injecting her? So we kind of had this idea that she's gonna come back.
Yeah.
And his plan worked brilliantly because, I mean, she's so quick to trust her.
Yeah, and that's how you have to, again, like I think what's really funny is when I read scripts the first time, I'll read it and I may be like, what, and then I have to go, wait, just settle down, go back, and then really look at why each person's doing this action, and how it's going to impact each scene or each person and the overall story, and then I go, oh, okay. That's why I'm not a writer on the show.
Well, that's one of the things that makes Clary such an amazing character to watch, is that she's still so human and so emotional and so young. Yeah. And, you know, this is somebody that she lost and loved and trusted. Yeah. And she's holding her hand out to her. Yeah. And so she takes it. I get it. I was like, oh, stupid Clary. But then I thought to myself, God, I probably would have done the same exact thing.
She needs something to ground her, and Dot does that. You know, that's why she comes to me or Luke for advice, is because Luke grounds her. You know, and right now her mom is not doing that. Her mom's doing everything but that. So she needs that. So when Dot comes along, it's like, yeah, you know what? I can relate to you more than I can relate to my mom right now. So.
Yeah.
Do you think Luke and Jocelyn though were shocked because they didn't seem shocked to see Dot to me?
I know. Okay, so I can tell you that Luke wasn't shocked, and I can pretty much guess why he wasn't, because he knows Valentine. He just knows. He knows him front to back. And he knows what he's up to. He knows how he's going to try to manipulate the situation. So it wasn't surprising that he would go, oh, you know what? I'll use Dot to do that.
Yeah.
It was
So smart of him. Yeah.
very smart, very sad also, because Dot, is essentially taking advantage of Clary in a way.
Yeah.
But we still see like this human side of her, like even though she is kind of trying to work for Valentine in a sense because she's being forced to, we see in the scene like with Clary in the cage, like we see that she still has those fond memories and is maybe upset that they didn't search like crazy after she had passed, but like I mean they thought she was dead, so I mean I feel like she kind of wants to do the right thing, and we kind of see that play out in the episode, but
she does want to do the right thing, but she can't. I mean, that demon blood's pretty powerful stuff, Like what can she do? She has to follow like Valentine, but at some point in time, maybe that'll change. I don't know.
It's like roid rage in a sense, It's like her veins were just like about to pop out of her face.
Yeah, she doesn't want to hurt anybody, but she kind of has to, right?
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is that scene that you're talking about had me craving gelato.
Had you what?
Craving gelato.
Oh, okay. I thought you said made me want to eat an enchilada.
Yeah,
I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, similar to that.
Gelato.
Okay, because she was talking about how she went to Rome.
Yeah. And that was a cute little thing. Remember when you went to Little Italy and she was like, actually, it was Rome.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant the portal scene, because behind them, I believe, is an ice cream shop. Like literally, like if I'm not mistaken, I think it said Ralph's Ice. Again, I saw it only a few times, so
really,
I may be wrong. Don't quote me, but I think.
They're just trying to make us crave
somebody
ice cream.
Somebody out there do some fact checking. On it.
Now I want enchiladas and gelato.
Yeah, at the same time.
We go back to Simon. He now has like a second father, which is Magnus, and that's a lot of fun too.
Yes.
And I specifically, guys, I took this from my mother's closet when I was just home over the holidays, but I was like, this is like a Magnus sweater.
Magnus.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you're welcome. And I'm going to wear it. Every time I wear it, I just think of him, and I feel like I am a warlock. So it's very exciting.
Simon's got the best of both worlds. He's got Luke looking after him, and he's got Magnus looking
Yeah.
after him.
Who can say they have like a werewolf and a warlock, on your side?
And they're both good. The only thing he doesn't have, and he kind of does, but man, Raphael has tough love. Like he just doesn't have a vampire who's like, look, let me show you how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, Raphael does, but I think there's just something going on there that he's just like.
I know.
No
Threatening
patience.
to burn off Simon's junk is a little much,
Man.
Like,
yeah.
whoo.
Hardcore.
He's like, I've barely
Hardcore.
gotten to use it yet. Please don't do that.
Yeah, it's tough love.
Poor Simon. I mean, he's dealing with the best way he can.
Yeah,
but
I really love Raphael. I love that character.
I know.
He's just like so cool to me. I really like watching like what
Terrifying.
David's
Dry sense
doing.
of humor.
And I love how like we won't see him and all of a sudden like turns around and there he is.
Yeah.
He's kind of like that creepy butler in Haunted Mansion.
Oh, yeah.
He's just like you turn around and he's there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In a haunted mansion. Oh my god, I cannot believe you just referenced that movie.
There's some cool stuff coming
Now
up
I'm
with
gonna go
Raphael.
watch
That's
Mansion.
exciting.
Yeah, I was
Really
happy
cool
to
stuff.
see him, and they're going after Camille, and we didn't get to see her this episode, but I'm
Right.
sure that we will.
Soon.
They go to India, and I loved how she had all these relics around her house
That
with
were somewhere Magnus's.
yeah, and that portrait of
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Magnus and
My
Camille.
bad side. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
hilarious. And
As
then
if Harry has a bad side.
yeah, I know.
No one on this show has a bad side.
I don't think anybody has a bad side. But they, there was a fun scene with the snake, and
Yeah.
Simon finally
Learns
You
how
got
to
it.
Encanto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he finally got it, and that's all. It's like Luke with like in Star Wars, finally he was like, oh, I let go and it happened,
yeah.
And then Magnus kind of comes in and it doesn't seem that impressed, and he's like, "No, I literally just beat this snake." And he's like, "Oh yeah, this is my pet snake. No big deal."
Yeah,
It's
he's
like,
like,
no,
"Baby."
I beat
Like,
the
no.
snake.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, no big.
That's so funny.
They
He's like,
didn't
"That's my
find
baby."
her,
I'm like,
which was sad. Like, I love Camille. I
Yeah.
think she is so sexy and scary
Yeah,
and
she'll be
funny.
back. She'll be back.
That's
a lot of
exciting.
layers to that character.
Yeah, a lot. And I just thought the set in general was beautiful.
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
her
you
home.
can't deny that woman.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And after that, we don't find her. We go back to Magnus's, but he doesn't really give Simon much advice.
Right.
Except for, take this. that is hers, and it seems like it's something she might want, and it'll draw her to you. Not really sure what's going to happen from there, but I think at least maybe Simon has got his mojo a little bit.
Yeah, he's got a lead.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
there you go.
His Vojo, vampire mojo.
Yeah.
There we go. I like that.
Nice.
You better trademark that real quick.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh God, that is
Hashtag
good.
Vojo.
Hashtag Vojo. And then we get Clary and Jace that finally get to reunite again, which is I loved their scenes on the boat.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting because I was a little shocked at that for a second. I was like, wait a second, hold on. Why is he believing her right now? Because the first episode, But then after she dropped all those, he was like, all right, okay, what are you doing here? Get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's like, remember that time, brother, when we made out?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, think fast, Claire, please.
Please. And after the new Shadowhunters, or I guess it was Valentine who kind of shape shifted as Clary to begin with. He was thinking, oh, this is just a vision, or this is just someone shape shifting. This is not her. So he almost took her out there right on the spot. I honestly thought for a second, okay, maybe this isn't going to be Clary again. Maybe this is going to be another.
Yeah, it was definitely tested him in a different way.
Yeah. Because he had her in a headlock ready to snap.
Yeah, and if we know anything about Jace, he doesn't hesitate.
Yeah.
No.
No.
He does not, and like we said, she proves herself to him, and he hasn't turned bad at all. Everyone's worried that he's just turned his humanity off in some sense, but he hasn't.
Well,
No,
he's kind of been
putting on an
tested. I
act.
mean, considering that vampire Maria submitted to the clave and he still killed her, it's showing that his father Valentine is getting to him in a sense, to where he's having to make tough decisions and he's starting to maybe corrode a tiny bit.
Here's the thing. If anybody watched Star Wars, The Return of the Jedi, okay, Luke, he let himself get captured because he wanted to see if he could turn his father back to the good side. So I think there's a little bit of that in
Ooh,
Jace.
I like that. That's pretty
You know
cool.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think he's listen, maybe there's something in there that I can affect, that I can do something with. And so he's not necessarily listening to everything he says, but he's like, well, let me just keep arm's length too.
Yeah, he's like grain of salt, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I think
I
Claire
like
wants
that
to believe
reference,
that too.
I don't know.
She seems like she's very, very
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that she wants to believe that Jace is doing that. I
Oh.
think
Yeah,
think she sees that what Jace is up to.
Valentine, you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
The
I
Valentine
think that
thing.
she's just done with Valentine.
She is. When he even walks near her, she just cringes up. She doesn't look at him hardly. She just doesn't want to have anything to do with him. I get why, but I just feel like she's very closed off to even wanting to. I feel like she feels awkward. She doesn't even know what to do in those instances where they are put in the same room.
Wow. Yeah. That's yeah.
Wow.
Without giving away too much. Yeah.
All right, cool.
And it's Greta, right? Greta.
Yes.
And she, she wasn't very nice to Simon, but didn't deserve.
No.
No,
This
I mean,
at all.
her hair is enough to save her. She's got
Yeah,
beautiful
her hair is great.
Yeah.
I was sad to see her go because I was excited to see where her character was going to go. She's a beautiful werewolf.
A lot of death this season.
I
Have
know.
you noticed that?
Yeah.
People are getting off, and
Yeah.
one per
horrifically
episode
too.
at least.
Like face into the wards.
Oh, that was intense. That was
I was
crazy.
like, oh, really?
They're like, this season's a little different, guys.
It's freeform.
Just a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah, we're just gonna make a not tamer season.
Yeah,
it's just gonna be scary.
It's hardcore. Greta, that one was tough because, she was such a fan favorite, So you kind of wanted to see her go for a little longer.
Yeah.
But man, Valentine doesn't play around.
Nope.
Sends
Well,
a message.
No.
What's interesting to me, Valentine this season versus last season, is last season it was more just I'm evil, these people should die because I want them to. But this season it's almost he's appeasing to the other characters. It's they deserve it, and they're gonna kill again.
Oh, he's got a master
Yeah.
plan this season. You can see his plan. Last season, you're like, okay, you're just evil. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But this time he's like, no. Let me tell you why I'm doing
Right.
all this.
He's even going
thought
after
it through.
like Jeremy, the character we meet. He's saying you need to kill her because she was the one who got your father. Or whatever. He's
Right.
almost planting seeds in the new Shadowhunters' minds to be like, this is why you need to kill.
Yeah, no,
kind
he
of a thing.
definitely is. He definitely is. He knows what he's doing, and that's what he intends to do with everyone that he comes in contact with.
Yep.
Master manipulator over there, and Dot comes back, saves the day, and opens the portal. And I'm assuming she's kind of sacrificing herself.
Yeah, in a way, it seems like.
Yeah, Dot again. I think that's where Dot is still Dot. You know, she says, well, you know, this is Clary. This I watched this little girl grow up. You know, how can I do these things? I have to give her something that she can help herself with. You know.
Yeah.
I'm scared to see what's gonna happen to her because I remember at the very end of the episode, he's like, take her down to the to wherever below decks. Take her below decks, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I don't want to see what happens to her.
Because if Valentine was saving her around like a shiny penny for whenever he needed her on her right day, if she served her purpose and didn't fulfill it, I mean, it's kind of obvious what he's planning on doing. Whether or not that's going to play out or not, who knows? But I mean, it's kind of scary to know. We just got her back, and she might be dying.
Yeah, well, as long as I think as long as Clary's around, like I think Valentine has a need for Dot, but it just what need, like you said, like has she fulfilled that need?
Yep.
Yeah, I really like
Scary
Dot's
stuff.
character, so I definitely hope that.
We all do.
Yeah, she comes back. Everyone wants a Dot.
Cool.
Everyone has a Dot. Like a lot of, like I have a Dot. I'm sure you had a Dot growing up. You know.
Yeah, someone can go to talk to.
We all have a Dot. Okay.
Let's get into some questions we had from the fans.
Bust it out.
All right. Actually, okay.
I know that
you guys start.
I do want to just tap on one little thing.
Oh, yeah.
If we're not going to get there about the atomus.
Oh right, the atomus. That was an important part. Yes.
That little tidbit of information that you get about the atomus and where it came from. That is huge.
It was Luke's mother, was it?
Yeah, it's huge, and that's really all I'll say about it. But just if for the fans out there, go back and watch the episode, or at least watch that part and listen to what's being said about that, and then listen to the scenes after that and what's being said about it, because it's really telling, and it's really a good little piece of information that you can take with you for the next episodes.
Okay.
Right.
This is why I have to rewatch episodes, because I always like catch things the second and third time I rewatch.
Yeah, it's which is crazy because you know, being on the show, like you instantly become a fan of everything, but sometimes you don't get what's going on till the third, fourth time that you've read the script, and you're like, oh, wait a second, that's why. And not even that, like you may read it and you're fine, and then you watch it like after months after you've filmed it, and you go, oh, that's what was going on. I couldn't see it then. Oh, I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it was important, but I was just like, I'm confused. I'm a little confused, as we're supposed to be.
Yeah, the atomus it's a serious little piece of information there. Yeah.
I'm very excited. That's super exciting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun piece of information.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you for that. And the fans, I'm sure, will go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, they'll like it.
All right, some questions, guys.
Yes. At Normila Sizzy wants to know, will we have hopefully more Simon and Luke scenes? And I know that it's kind of like one of those things. Everyone wants to know this, and I'm pretty sure we know the answer, but yes.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
Definitely.
Totally. Yeah. They'll definitely see more of Simon and Luke. You can't. You know, that's a very seminal relationship.
Yeah, definitely. I like to see the growth of it because it was obviously strong before, but now that you guys know more about each other, and he knows your secrets, you're a werewolf, and now he's a vampire. You guys don't really have much to hold back. You kind of are able to talk freely about things.
Yeah, you'll see Luke have a little bit more relationship with Simon. You'll also see him have a relationship with other vampires. So.
All right.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
All right, I have one from Pierre Sales. Comparing Luke's progression from season 1, how do you think he's changed, and what do you like about him?
Okay, I can tell you this: Luke is way more character. Like he's deeper this year. You don't have this but I mean that goes for all the characters. Like it's not just a surface. You get deeper into who they actually are and why they do the things they do, and what kind of motivates them into this these different actions. So I think the biggest thing with Luke is you're really going to see how this sudden alpha thing is affecting him, because he didn't want it, and he's not really sure how to deal with it, because he's got to deal with Clary and Jocelyn. So that's the one thing that you're going to really see.
Awesome.
Okay.
Becca's got a good one.
I really liked this one. I can't pronounce the username.
At
it's like
Truth.
Shruthi019, and it says, if Luke was on Twitter, what would his handle be, and who do you think he would follow first?
Wow.
People come up with
very
funnest
serious question
I know,
here, guys.
very serious. On pins and needles.
His handle will probably be like hashtag I am your stepfather.
Yes.
Or something like that. Something weird like that. Or hashtag puppy love or something.
Yeah.
Puppy love 09.
Aww.
And he'd probably follow who, like Simon first?
Yeah, totally. Like,
Yeah.
click.
Yeah, because Simon would like make him sign up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
he'd have the first comment on every one of Simon's tweets.
Yep.
Like he'd be like first.
Some
Yeah.
like sassy response.
That's like the only thing people say on Twitter now. So, like a celebrity, like you'll
Yeah.
post and then a bit
First,
first,
Yeah.
like back, or like whatever.
That's the best
So
stuff.
funny.
Like,
There's some weird Twitter trends.
Oh, there is.
yes.
It's so funny.
We have one of our great fans, the Artez Will 21.
Yeah.
Yes.
Artez, what's up?
And said, if you could play any other character, who would it be and why?
Oh man, honestly, I would be Valentine. I would
Yeah.
play Valentine
Ooh.
only because as playing Luke, I think you get an insight into who Valentine is. So
Right.
I would really want to dip into that and make it so. Man, that relationship is so crazy. Like when you get into it, and you're gonna get a little bit more of it.
Good.
Like I'm so excited. You're gonna get like a little more history of that relationship and kind of
Yeah.
how it plays out.
So like, cause one of our viewers, Validoscope, was saying that Luke and Valentine were parabatized.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like, is it
yeah.
one of those things where since you guys aren't close anymore, are you not parabatized, or are you still parabatized? And like,
okay,
how do you
so-
survive not being with them?
Okay, so when he betrayed me and threw me to the wolves, and I turned, that immediately broke that parabatai bond because I got lycanthropy and I became a werewolf. So
Okay.
that bond is broken and gone.
Got it.
And everything that came with being a Shadowhunter is now gone from me, except for like my reflexes and whatever, like my knowledge of the weaponry and everything else, because Luke
Right.
knows all that stuff. But that deep, like I love this person more so than I love myself, and I want to protect this person. Like that's gone. But that the pain of that still lingers. It's like a bad breakup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you still love the person and you don't want to, and you hate the person.
Yeah.
And you can't help but hate the person.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
Do you think Luke feels any guilt still about him and Jocelyn, or is that just kind of like you got what you deserved?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of guilt there, or there was, but I think once Valentine did what he did, and once he started getting crazy with his experiments and betraying people, and even his own circle members at sometimes, like I think Luke was like, well, look, all bets are off. Like you're just like an evil person.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have any more questions on this end, guys?
Yes. Tina_Hororka wants to know which episode would you look forward to, or that they can look forward to, that you guys are going to get like an overload of your character, Luke.
Okay, then right now, I'd say episode 6. You're going to see Luke as you've never seen him before.
All right.
Get excited.
I mean, you're going to get a heavy dose of Luke, and it is heavy, like in all senses of the word. Like you're gonna be like, whoa, I didn't know that.
I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready to know more about your
Yeah,
character.
it gets man, like maybe even like heart wrenching at a point. So just know that like it's like he is like. Yeah, it's very visceral, that episode. It's just like
Sounds like it was fun filming it, just from how
Sounds like
passionate.
it-
you
Yeah.
are.
it gets savage. Like
That's so cool. I'm excited.
I like that word.
Guys, on that note, let's get into some predictions.
Yes.
I think we have some now.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
I like this.
predictions.
I can now.
Okay, Isaiah
know it-
first? No?
right, yeah, you first. I feel like you should like do this intro. We should have him in the studio.
And
You're
now,
AfterBuzz.
AfterBuzz predictions.
he had like
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I like it though.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with you, Dakota, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So my prediction is that we're gonna get more of Jocelyn trying to come at Jace. I mean, I feel like she might be like, all right, I'm kind of over that. Like she's saying that she's gonna help Alec and Izzy right now to kind of help. She's wanting to find Clary, but I feel like she's gonna turn again, and something's gonna happen. And once she thinks, or everyone thinks she's helping, she's gonna turn on them again and try to do something towards Jace.
I shouldn't do it, and I would have solved it if not for those meddling kids. Yeah.
Exactly.
What about you, Becca?
My prediction, based off of like the theme centered around Simon in this episode, the whole toughen up thing, is that he's gonna have like a serious character growth over the next couple episodes.
Yes, I agree, and I think Clary might notice.
Yeah.
And some
Maybe fall in
climbing
love.
action might happen.
Interesting.
That's
I
my
like that.
hope. Like I said, I think Simon has his mojo now. So
Vojo.
Vojo, right?
Yes.
Vojo.
You coined it.
I did coined
Yes,
it.
you did.
I already
Gotta
forgot
remember.
it. So yes, he's gonna have his Vojo, and Claire's gonna be like, oh, wait, he likes me. It's gonna be this whole thing that she's gonna like pretend like, wait, I never knew, and it's gonna be a whole epiphany.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna love it, and then Jace will probably
Yeah,
figure
then
out
Jace is
that
gonna
they're
come
not
back.
related, and then she'll be like, wait, hold on, love triangle.
Yes.
Love triangle.
Yes, with the angle
Angle.
emphasized on. So
Yeah.
we can just we'll have your predictions with your
Interesting.
reactions.
Yes.
Yes.
One
Yeah.
thing that I think kind of goes with this that kind of is a good way for you to be able to kind of say stuff but not get in trouble
Sure,
type of
sure,
thing.
sure.
It's either X Shadows Humdario or at Lightwood Bane 96 says
Ignore.
describe Luke's journey in these coming episodes in 3 words. So obviously stuff's gonna happen in 3 words without giving much away because no you can't. What kind of stuff
Wow.
about Luke's journey?
Through the fire is what I can tell you.
All right.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. In all senses of the word, through the phrase through the fire. Yeah.
Well, we have found out so much, and we've enjoyed having you.
Yeah.
Amazing. So
Yes.
thank you again
Yeah,
for
no
being
worries. It was
here.
fun. I can talk this show till I can talk till my face turns blue.
So can we.
I get really
seriously, we
into
do.
the different relationships and the characterizations and like how these relationships intertwine. I get really into that. Like especially the Valentine and Luke relationship. That is such a interesting to
Yeah.
me. Like it says so much about how everything is kind of played out to this point.
And I like how you all talk about how you've mentioned that you and the rest of the cast talk about it
Oh,
all the
we
time.
always talk about it.
I
Like
love it.
we're constantly talking about the characters because we're invested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the last thing we ever want to do is have anyone be upset about how we're, portraying this the canon of this show because we love it as much as, if not more. I mean, dare I say that, than anyone else because we're so invested in it. So
Right.
we talk about like, hey, I'm doing this week, and do you think that he would do that? Like,
Yeah.
or do you think that she would do that? You ask these questions,
Yeah.
because you have to have the conversation and the discussion in order
Yeah.
to either go, all right, yeah, I think he would do that, or I think she would do that.
Yeah.
And if we can't really get it right, that's when we go to our showrunners and writers and go, help us out. We're not really getting this. We're not really understanding it. And usually they have the answer.
Yeah.
They go, well, this is it.
I can only imagine, because you guys talk about the show so much. I'm sure it's even more fun when you guys get to go to these conventions.
Yeah.
Our viewer Flori Natsoradu says you're going to the London convention.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like
Excited.
super excited. I know so many fans are excited because you get to kind of travel around and get to go and talk about a show you're so passionate about and so heavily involved with.
The two who can really get in and just really dissect it is Alberto and Kat. Because Alberto was the first to read all the books. He read them all within he was
Wow.
he had them and so he can just tell you stuff he'll rattle it off. And same thing, Kat would follow it up right after him.
That's
and she
awesome.
can too. She can be like, and she'll be like, no, but remember in book 4 when and she'll tell you
On this
what you
page?
did. Yeah, and I'm like, I didn't read book 4 yet. And then she's like, you need to get on that. She'll literally tell me, and I'm like, but I don't want to read any further than that. because
Yeah.
it'll mess me up at this point. So-
Yeah, because you don't want to know too much and then it portraying your character. You want to be living it as your character would naturally.
Yeah, I actually love the wiki. I love it because it gives me just enough without getting too many details. I get just enough to kind of know what happened, to who and what's going to happen to who. you know,
Yeah.
So.
Good side note. I agree with that because, guys look on Wiki and it's, if you just if you haven't read the books, but you want an idea,
Yeah.
things that are going to happen, you don't want to know too much.
Yeah.
Look on there. All right. On that note, let's all tell everyone again where we can find you on social media.
At Isaiah Mustafa. and at Isaiah Mustafa.
All right.
Instagram and
Easy
Twitter.
enough.
That's what
There
you
we go.
get, so.
Oh, and guys, Isaiah just got engaged.
Yes, congratulations.
On a drone.
Yeah.
Well, a drone filmed
so
it.
cute.
It's on my Instagram, drone
Yes.
posal.
And it's
Yeah.
pretty much the cutest thing ever, so you guys should definitely
So
check it out.
Congratulations, that's
Thank
awesome.
you, appreciate it. Thanks
So
a lot,
cool.
guys.
My standards are now like way up.
Yeah, seriously, how am I supposed to follow up with that? Like,
Try to set the bar. Try to set the bar. One thing I want to say real quick though is like what's really fun about the wiki is and the writers and what they do is they take little pieces of things instead of like Aldertree being this older like man, he's this like sexy Brit, which is kind of cool.
Gotta love TV.
Hey.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Totally.
You all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV.
And you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, SamDavidsonEntertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. And again, thank you, Isaiah. Thank you, the cast of Shadowhunters, for being so amazing.
Yeah.
And we will see
Yeah.
you all next week.
Yay. Bye guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.